see, where's that restream chat at? There we go. Just give me one sec, guys. Just finishing up setting this up here. Should be straight. All right. Let me give you guys a couple of minutes to jump on. While you guys are jumping on, I'm just getting the little area here set up. I know it's been a minute, man. It's been three weeks. I just checked. I haven't been on for 3 weeks. That's been a pretty long hiatus. But for you guys that are wondering how come I haven't been on, it's just because I've been, you know, just teaching myself and learning along the way. These are some kicks that I've been working on. I finally finished the majority of them. They're like 90% done. These were made out of an actual vintage 90s Gucci bag. And so I just, oh, sorry guys. We're going to have a little bit of, I think these beeps, by the way. So just giving you guys a heads up. That's just people subscribing. But yeah, 3 weeks of work, man, just trying to figure out how to make these. I made a Gucci Union style, off-white, a little bit of everything, I guess, that I like on all the pieces of shoes that I've been releasing as of recent. And this just took me a little while because the bag is an authentic bag, and it, you know, you got one chance to cut that right. You know what I mean? So taking the time to cut the panels efficiently and save as much space as possible. Those were all things that, you know, I would say took me an additional day or two just to maximize how much material we could use. So anyways, let me get set up here real quick. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to color blend and get paint colors that you don't have right now, but you need them for whatever custom job that you are working on. So let me show you guys our victims today. These are just, you know, these are pretty much done. I gotta just set up the stitching on the bottom sole, but I've got a pair of Air Max 97s today. So this is what I'm going to work with today. Let me show you guys a picture. Let me put these guys to the side so I can show you guys what this custom should look like when it's done, man. It's a pretty easy custom to do, I think. So it just takes a little bit of time because we're working on these very, you know, slim panels here. So when you're working on the smaller panels, you want to get a smaller brush, all right? The brush size that, you know, ideally you want to find is something that's about the same size as the lines that we're going to be painting today, okay? Hervel, what's good, man? How you doing, Vels? How's life, man? Hopefully you're good. Let me grab a brush real quick, guys. Give me a quick second. I think that'll give some people the opportunity to just jump on. I know I didn't announce it, so thank you guys for watching. Again, we're going to learn how to take colors today that we don't have, and we're going to flip and mix colors and match colors to get to the point where we match the picture that I'm going to show you today, all right? But before that, I need to get a brush to get started, so give me a sec. Alright, so I found a couple of brushes here. Both of them are from the Princeton Select line. And this one here is a 1/4 inch. It's a flat angular. Great brush if you guys want to work on detailed pieces like this. This guy here, I want to tell you what it is, but it got disintegrated. I think this one jumped in a little bit of acetone. I had dropped some acetone and it kind of ate it up here. So note to self, don't drop acetone on the handles of these because you won't know what the hell it was before. But from the looks of it, if this is what is this, a 1/4 inch, this is probably a half of that. It looks like maybe an 1/8 inch, if that exists. Yeah, I'd say it's about half size of this. All right. So I'm grabbing these two brushes because again, they fit like really nicely into the panel. See this? This one's a little bit smaller, and then this one here is a little bit bigger, which will cover more area. But if you've got too much paint on there, you got to watch out for the mesh netting here. Okay, so let me put the Gucci's to the side here. Let me say what's up to everybody first. Actually, I haven't even seen everybody. Thank God you guys are back, man. I appreciate you guys for coming back. I know it's been a minute. Again, if you just jumped on, I was working on doing a reconstruction with these Gucci's. I finally finished up 3 weeks of just like non-stop, teaching myself and learning. So for those of you guys that are on the Patreon channel, Patreon fam, Johnny, what's good, homie? For those of you guys that are on the Patreon family, you guys will be seeing how we did a different style video on this one. I can't wait to see what Alex does with it. It was more of a, if you guys are familiar with ASMR, ASMR? Is it ASMR? Somebody let me know. But yeah, it was just more just the sounds and all of the different steps I go through to make these happen from just a purse. And I'll tell you, man, 3 weeks, it took me that long because, you're cutting things up. When you cut up a Gucci purse, you have one shot at cutting it like straight, cutting it right. This was on the inside of the purse where the coin pouch is, where you unzip and zip it. This was the centerpiece there. So I cut that out. I put it on the tongue. I moved over the Nike ears to a section where I think a lot of people are familiar with. Air Gucci. Some suede back in here. It's like a gunmetal color. Gives it a little bit more of a masculine look. Reflective red inserts here. Denim on the inside. Supposed to have that natural white Jordan 1 look to it on the top. So yeah, if you guys are wondering where I was at, I was just learning. I'm teaching myself every day still. So I'm gonna put these guys to the side. I think you guys are already tired of these, and we're gonna get to work. Let's get to work. So I don't have to unlace these today, thank God. I really don't like unlacing them because we're just gonna work on one insert here on the middle end here, on the center. And you guys know the brushes. Let's get some paints out. I'm gonna use a couple of different colors here. Oops. And it's just 3 of them. So we're gonna use Alpha Flex. This is by Alpha 6 Corporation. I've got just the standard ultra white and jet black is what they're called. And then I'm using a, what is this guy called? The bright blue. I wish I had a navy. I don't think I have a navy. But you know what I just did find? I do have a light blue as well. So I might jump into the light blue. So 4 paints that I have here, the client requested for a certain colorway. Let's pull that up real quick so I could show you guys. This is the colorway that they are requesting. Maybe I could drop this on an iPad. Might be a little bit easier to see it. Y'all see that? What I'll do is I'll drop it right here. Speed Infusion, are you there, bro? If you're there, I'm gonna just drop this in, and if you could just switch this blazer out for me, I'd appreciate that. All right. So Hervel, what's good? Scrawny Johnny, what's good? Ice Chic in the building. Congratulations. Ice Chic is my younger brother. He just got engaged. So big shout out to Ice Chic, Adil. Congratulations, homie. Wade's in the building. Got your 6 custom. There goes the neighborhood. What's good, homie? Air Max 97, Scrawny. First time, believe it or not, that I'm working on a pair of Air Max 97s. I was a little skeptical on these, man. I got these from Goat. Y'all could see that they look like they've been tried on, man. At least this foot's been tried on for sure, because there's dirt all on the bottom of it. And it looks a little scratched up on the side, but it's weird because look, this side is brand new for sure. So maybe this was a display model or something, but today we're just working on making a sample for this person. I don't think it's gonna exactly matter. I could always clean off the bottom and make it look brand new as well. You know what I mean? So Graham, GTC Reels, Patreon family, what's good, homie? So we got a couple of Patreon folks in the building. We got Scrawny Johnny, Hervel. We got the homie GTC Reels in here. Every round like a dumbass. These are dope shoes though. They're not meant to play golf, you know? Maybe he needs to know. Scrawny, that's a good point, man. I don't know why I don't do IG lives. I think because here right now we're connected to Twitch, we've got Facebook and we got YouTube. But that's a good point, man. Maybe I'll start doing some IG lives. Adrian Garcia, YouTube, in the building. What's good? How are you, family? Sneaky Reeky, what's good? Patreon family, man, we got a lot of Patreon people. Let me throw this out there just in case you guys haven't seen the post yet. I know I just posted this today. For the Patreon folks, we're running it back. I got another set of Alpha 6 Corporation paints I'm gonna be giving away this month. This is for all of the people who are in the giveaway tier of our Patreon channel. All right, so if you'd like to join, oh, how coincident. Patreon.com/feelgoodthreads. If you guys join us, we have all kinds of different tutorials on there. But the giveaway tier, we give away stuff that like you can use to customize, and you know, it's free. It's free to join. As soon as you're in the giveaway tier, you're automatically included in all of the giveaways that we do. All right, so if you're interested, this is in the Patreon channel. Let me pull up, let me save this real quick. I'm gonna put the picture up on so you guys could see it as well. I think that's important, right? So then that way I don't have to keep looking on my phone. And let me just send this real quick so we can get it up. All right, as this goes up, I'll just leave this right here so we could see it. All right, so give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna just try to drop this in real quick. This is where multitasking gets a little tough. We should have had this up earlier. Appreciate you guys. Alright, so I just got it downloaded real quick. And let's flip that over. Alright, Speed Infusion, are you there, bro? JR, what's good, homie? Watching from the Philippines. My guy out there. What time is it out there, man? Oh, okay, dang. GTC, I just read what you said. It's not. Okay, maybe they come scratched up with it. That is so random, though. Like, if you get a dead stock pair of kicks, I wouldn't expect you to, you know, have a bunch of scratch marks and stuff on the bottom. Maybe it's the way they put the sole on afterwards or something. That is really, I don't know. I want to get some silver bullets, though. Alright, so webcam main, that's not it. Webcam extra, nope, that's not it. Screen share image, that's it. Let's go. Cool. I'm getting better. Getting better, guys. Sick. Let's just lay that out a little bit bigger for us. Can you guys see that okay? So now we got colors there. I'm already looking at that blue and I could see that I've got to, I think, darken it up a little bit. Right, this blue right here. The line. So let's jump into it. Let me pour some blue out real quick, and let me figure out what line that is too, because knowing me, I'll mess up and I'll paint the wrong line, y'all. Okay, so it's the front. It's the most front. And before I keep going, I'm gonna double check, because you know when you're old, you got to double check stuff. Yeah, it's the front. All right, cool. Front. All right, so now I know that. Let's get this guy prepped real quick. What I like to use for these kind of like detailed preparations, dropped all these, are these Q-tips here. I guess I needed some anyway, so glad they dropped out. These are precise Q-tips. Now you don't have to use precise, but it's just because the tip there is so much thinner, I feel like you can get into the crevice right between the two panels there. And you'll see I don't put a bunch of acetone on the Q-tip here, because we don't have a major panel here. Just a real thin line. So I'll go back and forth. And I think that covered pretty much a good amount of it, but I'll just go over it one more time. Y'all can see that some of the black is already coming off of it. Now what happens on these panels, sometimes you'll see black come off of it. Sometimes you won't. I mean, it's just dependent on the leather they use. So if for some reason your Q-tip is completely clean, don't be shocked. It just depends on the leather. Sometimes they use a leather and then they'll dye it. That might be another thing that they do, and then they'll seal it, because they do seal it with some kind of a clear coat. So let's see here. But lucky for me today, this shoe is all black, so even if I mess up a little bit, it's all good. This acetone won't exactly show on there. So, alright, so other side here. Same thing, I'm like reaching just for that first line. And I'm applying a good amount of pressure. You know, you really want to try. What we're doing here is we're trying to get rid of this clear coat that I just mentioned. There's a matte clear coat on here. We want to take that off, so when we apply our paint, it'll actually last. So keep a count on the Q-tips here that I use. That way you guys have an idea how far they go, you know. But ideally, if you see a lot of murkiness on the Q-tip, or if you see a bunch of paint coming off of it, you don't want to be swishing around the same paint on the panel of the shoe. You want to use another clean side of a Q-tip there. So, all right, so I'll do the same thing here. I got a little bit of stuff. I don't know what that was, but clear that off, right? Otherwise, you're going to put it on the shoe. See, this really assures I got that inside of that crevice too. It's a little difficult to hit that panel with a regular Q-tip. Alright, so that's one Q-tip, two Q-tips. Took me 3 Q-tips to do that. Alright, so let's toss these guys to the side. I usually save those, by the way, guys. If you have an airbrush, those are still great to use if you need to clean out airbrushes, which is, you know, you'll get a lot of murkiness when you're, you know, painting and dropping in solution and stuff. So let's shake this bad boy up real quick. Let's see who else in the building, man. Sneaky Ricky, what's good? Hollis, you see the quality on those Fords that dropped? Seen some looking shit. Which one, Hollis? Are you talking about the Lightnings? I got a bunch of Lightnings I haven't even opened up yet, man. I'm praying that they look okay, but a lot of people are saying that. Oh snap! I didn't. This is a major part of this. Is you want to uncap and open it. So I forgot it's a brand new one. But yeah, the Lightnings, man. I heard that a lot of people were saying the same thing about the Lightnings. The quality on them was not that great. But the Lightnings were pushed back for like a year or two. It's been a while. They keep announcing that they were going to bring them out. So I think everybody was really hyped for that release. And I don't know. There's a lot of people who are always disappointed in every release. So, and everybody compares quality to the shattered backboard. It's almost like the staple now. Is it SBB leather? Dang, this thing don't want to come out, man. I think because it was hot. So I got all... Okay, let's see. Come on, buddy. Man, the worst part is my fingers are all messed up, so I can't even just pull it out. Alright, usually it's not this hard, y'all. This should just pop out. Let's see if this will do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Cool. I'm going to put this guy in the trash can. There we go. That sounds like I need to hit the weight room right there. Alright, let's go. Now we can shake this bad boy up. Cleaning that paint off my fingers at the same time, yo. 10:13 in the morning. That's dope, man. It's Monday over there, JR. Hollis, you funny, bro. So it's your world. We're just living in it. All right. Well, I'll tell you, man. I'm happy to do what I do, man. It's a blessing to do this. All right, so now I'm looking at that blue. It looks a little bit darker. So instead of dropping black right on top, this is what I like to do. So let's shake this guy up a little bit too. Josh Bolden, what's good, homie? Josh Bolden over on Facebook said, "Yer." GTC, my lightnings look like someone spilled acetone and I got cracking where that area is at. Oh man, I gotta open my lightnings up now to see what they look like. That's really man, that's really unfortunate, dude. I'm really sad to hear all that. It seems like this year is gonna be the year of the fours, though. I'll tell you that, because they've been hyping up Jordan 1s for a minute, and I feel like there's a little bit of oversaturation of 1s over the last couple of years. All right, y'all. So let's mix this up. When I mix it, I like to mix it from one side over to the other side and just drag a little bit of that black into it. That way you can kind of gauge and see what that blue comes out looking like. It's important to know that like this first layer that I'm going to do, even if it doesn't match perfectly, I want to get somewhere close to it. Because then the next layer that we topple it with, it should be the color that we actually want it to be. Alright, so that looks like it's kind of like a, I want to call it a deep royal blue. You guys agree with that? What do y'all think? So I've gotten here, see now I've mixed both black, this is a jet black, and this is just the regular blue. Of course it's going to darken it, right? Because you've added black into the blue. But the thing about black is if you add just a little bit, it darkens things up very fast. All right, so just want you guys to take note of that the darker colors, if you mix a dark color with a lighter color, the darker color will always overtake the lighter color. Even if it's a blue, like the blue is still, it's not necessarily light like a yellow, but it still got overtaken, you know? So I'll put a little bit more blue in there. You guys notice I'm not spilling a whole bunch of paint, you know, wasting a bunch of paint. I just want to try to get somewhere close to that first initial blue there. So again, it's just on the side here, and I'm just doing almost like a like a hurricane almost, you know, just grabbing a little bit of the darker blue as I go in until I see that blend looks good. So I'm gonna start right here. It gives a little bit more of a deeper royal color. And let's see, this brush here, I'm using the 1/4. Okay, this is the guy that I use because I'm comfortable knowing that if I dip the paintbrush in, I just got to realize when I'm putting it down not to touch the panel next to it. The worst case scenario, if that does happen, I can clean it up real quick before it dries. All right, so let's jump into it. I'm going to just take a couple of quick dabs of the paint. And again, we're concentrating on only that first line there, okay? So let's go ahead and lay down just a little bit. I don't want to put a whole gunk full of it. I just want it to lay down very softly. And I'll tell you why is the thread line, y'all see the thread line like right in the center here? That thing catches a lot of paint on it. So you don't want a bunch of paint to be sitting on top of that thread line. We want to really disperse that paint out. So let's see how far we can kind of move all the paint here so we can still see our thread line. All right, that first coat here, we want it to be nice and thin. Keep it nice and thin. So look at that, that went pretty far, right? We're going to just continue that same process, and I'll be just going up and down this shoe here until we got a good coverage, at least for the first coat. I think for a lot of you guys, this might be basic stuff, you know? And if it is, that's okay. I 100% understand that. Everybody's been to this step before, right? If you're customizing shoes. This is the foundation of it. Understanding how to prep. Understanding what brush to use, how to mix colors. all these things are really important. And at one point, you didn't think they were basic either, right? You're like, yo, how do I get that one color? How do I mix colors? How many layers of paint do I put down on the shoe? How do I prevent the shoe from cracking? Those are all like questions that I had to really explore before I got it down and felt confident. One of the Patreon members that we have, his name's Everett. He just started to paint shoes for people. And y'all don't understand, there's a different kind of stress that's involved when you're starting to paint for people because, well, I guess number one, you want them to like the artwork that you do on the shoe, but you also have this almost like a confidence issue. You're hoping that the shoe will last, the paint won't crack, you know? Especially if it's like a special birthday present or something that a person is celebrating. You want it to be a special moment and you want them to keep that art forever, right? So this is where we're at. This is why I do what I do. I remember when I used to first start painting, I'd be holding my breath the whole time because I'm just so scared to get paint on panels that shouldn't go. But once you guys learn to let that go and just freely paint and just realize that you're going to correct things along the way, it becomes a lot easier for you to paint. So it might not happen right away, you know, but it'll happen with practice. I tell you that. If you really like what you're doing, you're going to practice it, right? How many things have you practiced in your life, whether it be a sport, dancing? There's so many things that you've probably spent time and dedicated to. And then when you notice that you're going to the gym and you're getting bigger, you're getting more shredded, it encourages you to keep going. When your first custom took you 30 hours to do, and then your second custom took you half that time, you feel accomplished, right? You did something in half the time. Or do you keep the quality? Did you get all the edges? This is an edge, right? It's really relaxing for me. That's why I do it. Drop some music on and just relax. Zone out. I remember this used to be complicated for me at one point. Now I'm drawing like cartoon characters and stuff. And that's complicated for me. And then one day I'll say, that's not complicated. I'm doing this now. As long as I keep going. As long as I'm healthy enough. Thank God I'm healthy enough. I was worried about my eyesight or my vision. Will I ever get arthritis in my hands? You know, there's health issues that come with everything you do too, right? But I'll tell you, I love what I do, so it gives me a lot of drive to keep going. Even when I wake up with a sore back from sewing, or, you know, I've been doing a complicated bumblebee and my hand is aching. There's always this motivation to just keep going. And just like that, I think we're done with our layer number 1. Let me show you guys what that looks like. What do you guys think? Am I close? I gotta really let this kind of settle in, right? So I'll give it a couple of minutes. Let me read the comments. Let me see what you guys are saying here. But In my opinion, I think that I can give this another layer. I'm really impressed with how fast this first layer covered over black. All right. And I'll tell you why, because black is one of the most difficult canvases that you have to paint over to get to turn into another color. Like, for example, if you were to try to do black to yellow, you wouldn't be able to just put yellow paint on this, because you're going to be painting for a long time. It'll take you 4, 5, 6 layers to get to yellow, and that's not the correct way to do it. You want to try to transition this to like a lighter gray, and then light gray to like a white, and then you can put on the yellow. For today though, since he asked for this kind of a deep royal blue, for it to cover this quickly on the first coat is awesome, because the less paint that I have on the shoe, in my opinion, the better. As long as it's covered fully, and the less paint you have on there, you can protect it afterwards with a scratch resistant sealer, and it will last a lot longer, I feel like, than you painting 6, 7, 8 layers on it, because that's when you have the potential for this shoe to crack. All right, so if you're new, just for you guys to understand, the amount of layers does matter. For me, I try to keep my layers to about 3 or 4 at most, and then from there I try to seal it with some kind of a scratch resistant sealer. All right, as that settles out, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my brush. The paint on here also dries, so I'm going to try to just break the bristles up a little bit, get it to become a little softer, right? You want to have a nice soft brush stroke, and that'll avoid you having brush strokes all over your shoe. So that's another issue that a lot of beginners have. They have issues with oh, what just happened here? I hope I didn't get booted. You guys still there? TeamViewer just came up for no reason. TeamViewer, get the hell out the way, bro. Let's see, are you guys still there? Okay, cool. We're still recording, right? I think we're there. Anyways, yeah, you want to make sure the bristles are nice and soft. That'll really avoid any paint strokes all over your shoes. People say, like, I can still see the bristles. You got to have a nice, clean, soft brush, so when you are brushing onto the actual surface, the leather, it brushes smoothly. It doesn't like leave all these hard bristle strokes. All right. So let me just check real quick. Glorious, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You're amazing. That makes me that made my day. I appreciate you. Sometimes you need to hear that. Hollis said, I watched hours of you, Vic Almighty, and Dylan DeJesus before I even ordered my paints. Yeah, man, it's it's intimidating in the beginning, but when you have people who give you instruction, I think that's all I could provide for you, is I can only provide instruction and show you how I'm doing it live, because now you guys know the timing. Now you guys know how many layers I'm painting. You guys see the process in real time versus me like chopping up a video and doing weeks of work to show you guys how we're doing stuff. So this really, I hope for you, Hollis, this gives you guys benefit, So if you like this, the Patreon channel, if you're not part of the Patreon channel, bro, I promise you, you will learn a lot from that channel as well. Shout out to DeJesus and Vic Almighty, man. Both of them are amazing artists as well. Those dudes right there. I had the opportunity actually to meet Vic Almighty at the MTV custom show we were on. Really, really good guy. And then I speak to Dylan pretty oftenly as well. The dude's videos on YouTube are just nuts nowadays. I mean, like, really entertaining. You could tell they really think things through when they make a video. Him and his videographer. I forgot. I think his name is Jason, I believe. If not, I apologize. CJ made me take a look at my pair. Quality is dope. Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that your quality was good. Man, it's 30 years since the Sixes. I thought it would be the year of the Sixes. That's a good point, man. They do randomly, sporadically just bring out different pairs, and you can tell because, 2 years ago you didn't hear nothing about no SBs or SB lows or anything, and now all of a sudden it's huge. You know what I mean? Alan, what's good, homie? Patreon family, what's good? How you been? Webb's Custom Kicks, Patreon family, what's good? We got a lot of Patreon members on today, man. I'm glad to see y'all back. Hollis said, bro, that's legit the worst. I'm so confident doing my shoes, but when I do customers, just feel nervous. Hollis, man, I do that. I do this on a daily basis. I'm going to jump on layer 2, by the way, guys. And I'm going to go starting from exactly where I started from. I do this on a pretty daily basis, man. And even when I give back shoes to people, I'm still, a little, did I get every single corner? Like almost, I'm not going to say doubt myself, but there's always an air of nervousness, of the anticipation of giving back some shoes to someone, So don't worry. I feel like that's just a natural part of this if you're working with customers now. At least for me it is, Some people are really confident in themselves. So I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I feel you on that, man. Now this second layer, y'all see I'm now slowing down. I'm pumping the brakes here a little bit. And the reason why is I'm really trying to make sure I get the entire layer saturated, right? And I'm trying to get into the thread lines. So that's important. That's my second coat in. I'm trying to get this to be nice and even. So y'all see like how I'm kind of spreading the paint all the way through. I'm not like attacking one small section. I'm spreading the whole paint through. And then once I get the paint spread through, then I'll disperse it evenly. Because now I know I got a nice thin layer still, and I'm getting like a good amount on the whole surface. Look at the angle that I'm using on the brush here. I believe that's perpendicular, right? Where they're both on the same path here. I'm perpendicular to them, and I'm laying the paint down almost at the same angle. What that does is it covers that whole surface evenly there. Y'all see that? Go through that whole surface nice and even. Try to make sure that as I get to that thread line, look, I'll just give it an extra little brush stroke there just to make sure you get any paint out of the thread line. You still want to see the holes of the thread line. That's what's going to give you guys that nice factory look. Don't get the thread line gunked up. Once you start getting all this paint in there, it looks really bad. In my opinion, it looks really bad. unless you got some kind of you're trying to purposefully do it. I think most people are going to try to aim to get that factory look. As you get good with the brush, you can even go left and right. See how I'm going here, left and right, left and right. Big difference on layer number 2, guys. I can really see the blue now is kind of overtaking, which is great. Just following the trend here, that the line is just kind of nice and smooth for me. It's like playing Super Mario Kart. Just going down the track. How many of you guys play Super Mario Kart, man? That's got to be like a classic game. Ooh, that's looking pretty dope. How's it look, guys? John, what's good? John switched over. You on YouTube now? SGZP, hello, brother. How are you? You don't use masking tape anymore. Man, SG, I never use masking tape, bro. Honestly, I learned to paint without masking tape. I feel like masking tape... Oh, I missed this whole front end. I feel like masking tape is more of a handicap for me when I do use masking tape, because when you mask things off, sometimes you don't see what's going on underneath, and then you can start drowning paint underneath the tape, and it gets all messy. Or you might miss a whole spot, on the underneath there. You might mistape it and make a line that you shouldn't have there. So for me, I'm just a lot more comfortable doing this method. I teach this way to everybody because I feel like when you learn how to do it this way, you skip that whole step of trying to mask things off. And I feel like if you have a steady enough hand, you don't need masking tape. You can do this without masking tape, even if you're a beginner. Great question. Great question. Because I forgot that a lot of people do use masking tape. You know, and if you want to use masking tape, that's not a problem at all. You just have to mask off, you know, the bottom section here and the top section here. But for me, I feel like I could save that. You know, it would take what, 20 minutes, 15 minutes to do all that masking. I could save that time and I could just do it here, you know, and use that 15 and 20 minutes. That's probably going to be my second layer here. You know, I'll knock that out. So you're saving time. So again, that's just my opinion. You know, I think a lot of beginners, they are unconfident in themselves, and that's okay. So I'll teach you right now that if you did this particular shoe and then you get a little bit of blue paint on either panel here, well, we just tested out the panel, right? We already know what it looks like when we put acetone and a Q-tip to it. It very, very barely takes off any black paint. So what I would do is just use that same method and clean up if I end up getting on the black portions here. Just use a Q-tip, acetone, and just clean it off like an eraser. Nice and simple. Alright, so this is almost done, guys. Alright, see, so I got right here at the tail end of it. Should wrap up coat number 2. Again, don't forget, you want to make sure as you look at your coat here. I'm looking in the light. I have good light here, and I could see when there's just a bunch of kind of bundled, bunched up paint. You want to clean that all off, give it a nice smooth look. You shouldn't see any puddles of paint just sitting around. That's really important, because if you don't move it, it's going to sit there and it's going to just end up drying like that. It's going to end up drying like a puddle of paint. It won't be smooth. These guys usually have really good paint, though, that when it comes to, you know, self-flattening. It'll flatten as much as it can, but at some point, if it's about to dry, it's just going to dry into a little puddle because you left it there. Think about this like cement. If you just left cement sitting there in whatever shape it was at, it's just going to end up drying, and it'll be that shape. So there you go. I think we're pretty much done with that blue line all the way across. Let me know what you guys think. For safety, I would just give this maybe one more coat, you know, a third coat, especially here on the front, because I know I missed this toe cap the first time around. So let me just give this another little bit thicker of a coat. It's important for me to try to get that whole layer the first time, though. So that was a mistake on my part. That's what I get for talking too much. How are we looking, guys? Does that look pretty close? I think that's a side to side for you guys. Looks good. Let it dry and see what it finishes like. Awesome. Hollis, thank you. Almost dead on. I think that's not bad, right? For just me eyeballing it out. A lot of people are very particular about, like, you need to put 4 drops of this and 3. I mean, I just eyeball it, man. I don't really think that you need to do all that. You'll know when you get to the point where it looks good. You know what I mean? Isaiah Stewart. What's good, man? I know it's been a minute. You know, it's been a minute since I've been on. It's been 3 weeks. So if you haven't seen me for a minute, it's because I've been out too. Michael Adams, what's good? How you doing? Michael's over on YouTube. Sadir on YouTube as well. I don't know if it's the lighting, but it looks like you did not paint the front part of the toe box. Nah, you're right, man. I missed it. I was talking to you guys. And so I just missed that. You're good, man. All my favorite members. Vels Custom Kicks with the love, man. Appreciate you, Vels. Scrawny Johnny Dylan hops on my IG Lives. Oh, that's dope, man. Scrawny, you started doing IG Lives? I didn't know you doing that, man. Same Instagram, right? Shout out to homie Scrawny Johnny, man. You guys check him out on Instagram if you guys haven't followed him yet. He's doing lives. Vels Custom Kick said I took his class here. Which class was that, Vels? Oh, Jeff from LK as well. Nice, man. I haven't seen Jeff for a minute. I've talked to him a couple of weeks ago, though. Let's see, that's so true. Davidito, what's good, man? I'm still waiting for my episode, bro. Did I get kicked? Did you Kanye me? Am I the Donda part 2? All right, y'all. Let me just jump into the next portion here real quick. Oh, dang, I got a lot more. I'm so sorry. I just saw all the other comments, y'all. I'm late to the party, y'all. My bad. Would you say that Alpha 6 paint is better hand painting than Angelus? I think that it covers better than Angelus for sure. So, I mean, for me, like I stated earlier, I just feel like you want to have the least amount of coats of paint on here because of the fact that we're not dyeing the color. It's already dyed in there, so this is a black, and we're painting on top of it. It's never going to absorb into the leather like a dye would. So I would say you want to just keep it as light as possible. So I would recommend Alpha 6 for hand painting. Yep. Yeah, see, Velis even said, yes, I do. Hollis said, I hate masking tape sometimes, especially when it leaves some adhesive on there. Man, adhesive is a great other point of why I don't put masking tape on here. I try my best only to use masking tape. Usually on airbrushing is when I use masking tape because I want to cover spots that don't get overspray. But other than that, man, leave the masking tape alone, man. This is just my opinion. I think that it can deter your time, and I feel like it's also handicapping you. Because you're so dependent on, just getting a mark on your shoe. But again, like I said, if I did get a mark on the shoe, I would just grab a clean Q-tip. I'd put a little bit of acetone on the Q-tip, and in a sweeping motion, like a 360, I would sweep it up and off. So that would work great on this shoe because I've tested and I've tried to clean this and prepped it, and look at what the prep showed me. The prep showed me that you're not going to get a bunch of paint wiping off, and it won't be like white underneath or anything. So even if I just swiped it, I'll get that nice clean look to it, okay? So with that said, let me jump into the next section. We've got to get a small little blue. Y'all see this little Nike swoosh here? It's threaded. So we've got to get that to be like a powder blue. This is a light blue, which I have. It's close, but I think I need to lighten up a little bit. So I'm going to shake this guy up real quick, and we'll lighten it up. All right, so Sadir said, yeah, now you got it too. Oh, got it now. Okay. You're talking about the toe cap. Isaiah Stewart said, is there a difference in consistency between Alpha 6 and Angelus paints because of the difference in opacity? Yep, 100% there is. So far, I haven't tested all of Alpha 6 paints. I've only tested the Alpha Flex, okay? So I gotta be very cautious with the way I word this. I would say that with some of the Angelus neons, you need to put a white undercoat behind it and then paint the neon, or it's not going to come out nice and bright. With that said, I'm assuming you're going to need a white base for Alpha 6 neon paints as well, but I haven't used them yet, okay? So I think that consistency is different in all the different colors on paints. For example, the blacks super dark, the whites also, they have this opacity to them where they cover really well, but you need to use more white to cover certain sections up. For example, if we're going to paint black and we're trying to make it white, it's going to take you 4, 5, 6, 7 coats to get it to that point, versus the other way around. If you had a white shoe and you want to paint it black, you could probably do that in 2 coats, right? So, there's consistency levels in opacity in all the different paints. It just depends on what paint you're using. I probably botched that whole question up for you, and you probably don't know what the heck I just said. But if you're more confused, let me know. Let's see what else. In my opinion, Isaiah Stewart. Okay, so Vela said the same thing. Brian said on point. Thank you, Brian. Brian's over on Facebook. Sadir said, where's that video of you dropping off those Simpsons kicks? Sadir, we are working on that right now. So if you're a part of the Patreon family, you'll see that next, because I just put a post up on Patreon that we're actually editing the Simpsons video next. That video is going to be called The Art of Detail, and we are calling it that because we're showing you guys how to do details on shadowing characters, how to detail people's faces, how to shadow and detail clothing to give it more of a dimension. So that's going to be on Patreon. It's going to be one of the next videos. So coming very, very soon, Sadir. Thank you for asking, man. Oh, almost daily, Scrawny? Crazy, bro. I don't understand how you watch me when I'm doing it and then you're still doing it daily, because I get exhausted after I'm done with this. I ain't even gonna lie. Alright, so I gotta show you guys that because we're working with thread here, I've got to pull out something that'll give this a little bit more of a watered down feel. And that's going to be this GAC 900. You guys can see it says fabric painting medium. So I use this usually if I have a white thread or a light color thread. We got to paint it a different color. What I'll do is I'll add a little bit of this to help water down that color. It'll help soak into the thread instead of sitting on top of the thread. Alright, so let me go ahead and just mix a little bit more. If you are starting to paint a color here, you want to try to get it to be, if anything, if you mess up on it, you want it to be a lighter color versus a darker. So if I went too dark on the blue here, it's harder to bring it back to lighter. So I'm going to always aim to do a lighter version first. And if it looks like I need to get it darker, then we'll add a little bit more blue into it, okay? But right now, this is just a mix of the, what is it? Light blue and ultra white. Sorry, I didn't mention that. I just started working. Ultra white and light blue alpha flex, all right? So let's jump into this next section. Again, the fabric medium is just to make this a more watered down and soft feel. So you'll see here that when I drop this on, it'll kind of sink into the fabric. See that? It's falling into the cracks of the threads. And that's really what you want here to give that nice soft and organic look, a factory finish for this swoosh here. If I didn't do this, we're still going to get a very similar look, but the texture on the top might be a little bit more, you won't be able to see these threads, you know? It'll be a little bit thicker. And ideally I want it to just fall right into the cracks and look just like it was sewn with a powder blue here. I'm using the smaller brush here, by the way, guys. I believe, again, this is a 1/4 inch Princeton Select. And you guys can see how nicely this kind of fits into the swoosh. Again, not using any masking tape here, guys, because it's so nice to see that when I drop the GAC in here, it literally just sinks in. I don't have to really do too much work. I don't have to get to the exact corner because the thread kind of eats up the paint here. So it does the work for me. Just trying to lay just a nice light amount on there. And really quickly you guys can see how the color changes here. I love the fact that this is really simple to do and it's a quick change. SGZP, no problem, man. I'm on live, man. If you have questions, it doesn't have to be about this. It can be about anything that you have a question on, man. In terms of customizing Jordan 1s, how do you paint the wings logo so they are as factory? In which case, do you airbrush instead of the brush? SGZP, we have a tutorial on YouTube. I actually show you how to paint the wings logo. And I have a lot of shortcuts on that one. So if you can't find it, if you want to DM me, I know you're on YouTube right now. I think you could send a message on YouTube as well. But if you want to DM me, I can certainly send you a link on how to paint it. Let me show you how I did it on this one here, though. There's different ways that you can do it. Okay. So for example, when I did this pair, I used a heat press, and what I used here was like a heat. Let me make sure I don't have any paint on here. All right. What I used here was a heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl works great because it's very similar to cutting out stencils. You just have to cut the mirror image of it out, because what happens is you flip the mirror image and then you press it down and you will heat this on to the leather so it bonds to the leather. So there's different ways for you to do it. Usually when I finish this up, I have a couple of other steps I'll show the Patreon guys exactly how to do this soon. This is definitely something that's been on the bucket list. Actually, speaking of, I'm working on just building a whole Jordan 1 and doing a tutorial. So that will come very soon as well. But I've got to do at least 3 or 4 more builds for me to say, like, yo, I'm super, super confident in releasing a Jordan 1 recon video that I believe in. Okay, so be patient with me, guys. I'm working on it. Great question again, SGZP. I appreciate that. And finally, with what paint do you paint the suede, and what material do you use to protect it? So you cannot paint suede, SGZP. You have to dye it. You have to use a suede dye. Suede is really difficult to work with, but you can airbrush it. I did that in the Jordan 4 Travis Scott Friends and Family when I turned them purple video. You can also use these same paints that I'm using, the paint brushes. Sorry, not paints, the paint brushes that I'm using to hand paint it as well. So you have a couple of options. It's difficult to paint detail and characters and stuff like that on there. So I don't recommend using suede. You'd have to use another medium. Okay. IG is the same name as this one. Okay, cool. Let's go. Give me a follow. I got you, man. I haven't followed you yet. But you know what, Scrawny, I don't know if you know what happened with my IG, man, but my IG went down, and we've been just trying to work on it. So I've been really like working on just trying to get my mind off of IG. But yeah, for sure, man. I got you. Melvin Amadison. I want to say that. What's good? How you doing? Did I say that right? Amadison? Melvin? Let me know. Earwax Records. What's good? Nice name. I had to pound it very hard to make it soften a little bit. Whoa. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but let me know. Because I obviously said that at a very random time. No, I definitely understand your answer. Okay, cool, man. Patreon family in the building. Lab, Isaiah Stewart, what's good? Scrawny Johnny, Patreon family, what's good? The best running joke in here is needs more detail. Exactly. You know I love detail, man. I could go on a shoe, man. I don't stop. I got to eventually stop myself. Yeah, tag me on the next one, Johnny, please. For sure. I absolutely will jump on with you, man. And again, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting me all the time, bro. I mean, not even just purchasing stuff, man. You're always on. You're always supporting and commenting, man. Dialab said you like to jump on when he's driving, bro. Don't be getting Dialab to crash, homie. Oh, about the crowd. Oh, my bad, man. It is a shameless plug, though. You definite about that, homie. All right, guys. So let me take a look at this. Take a sip of water. Let me know if you guys think that looks similar blue or not. I think that it looks a little washed out in the camera. Just a heads up. Scrawny Johnny got a warning for spamming. For being too active, bro, you got a warning. I'm going to just hit it one more time with a little bit more, and just to, really get the last couple of layers in there. Again, I'm just really trying to get the paint that's watered down here. Y'all saw me mix it, right? I mixed more of the GAC just on this left side here. And I just want to have a consistency of blue here, so I'm just knocking out one more small layer. I think this is looking pretty good, man. I feel like we're pretty much done with this custom. I'm not going to do the second one right now, but I think you guys have a good idea of how to paint a couple of different fabric mediums today. There we go. And I'll just drop this on real quick. Where we at here? I always have my keyboard in all kinds of different places, y'all. I swear. This is, I just sent up a link for you guys. That link is just the paints that I use. Today I'm using Alpha 6 paint. You guys can see on the link there, it says paint and then Alpha 6 Corporation. If you guys use my code, which is feel good, you guys will get a discount on the paint as well. Some people have mentioned like the paint's a little expensive, but honestly, you guys are getting more paint because this covers a lot better. So instead of doing 4 or 5 layers, you're getting the same thing done in 2, The paint bottles, I believe they are 5 ounces, so they're a little bit bigger than the standard paints that I get, and so that you get an extra ounce out of that. And you can see here by the result, it looks great. At the end of the day, I really look at quality and durability, because if I paint this whole thing and then it cracks on the first wear, I'm just going to have a bunch of customers who are pissed off, and they're going to want their money back, or they're going to want me to fix it, and then that just really backs you up. And so I really try my best to just pick the right products in the first place, not to use shortcuts, and that'll give you the best amount of time to just keep working, I'm going to add a finisher here next, because we're pretty much done here. By the way, I'm using my one of the old ones that I prepped this shoe here with. I'm just adding a little bit of acetone, cleaning up, making sure that when I spray the clear coat here, we're going to use a scratch resistant sealer. When I spray that, it doesn't jam up or anything. That feels pretty good. So let me just test this out. Man, I haven't pulled out my airbrush for weeks, man, 3 weeks. So let's see if it works. Check this out. I look down here and I find a Nike tag. Red tag. That's always nice to find. A random bread tag. Who knows where the hell that belongs. Alright, let's see. Now this finisher I'm going to use, you don't need to airbrush it. You can use hand painting too. So let's go ahead and just drop. See, I have acetone in here. I like to put acetone in the brush to just make sure that that's running through first. Because if that's not running through, that means the brush is definitely jammed. So you could see that. See that? The acetone all went away. So that's a good sign. That means that the brush at least is good enough to drop some acetone in there. Now I'm going to drop some LK Shoes matte finisher, okay? The reason I'm using matte is because the finish on the shoe is matte. So I'm going to just shake this bad boy up a little bit. And I think the top might be jammed. If it is, I might have to open it up. Probably my fault. I probably left this guy open, so just, if you have this, you want to make sure you close it right afterwards. Oh, look, it works. Cool. And that's just a little bit. You guys saw how much I dropped in there. It's not a tremendous amount. And before I spray it on the shoe, I like to just test it here. Okay, cool. It looks like it works. Make sure there's no dust on there, okay? Because if you have dust on there, it's going to capture it. All right, let me just look over this blue line, make sure there's no, spots I missed. It looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty. Man, believe it or not, I think I didn't make an error at all, which is nice. The line looks clean, yeah. Dang, props to me, man. I think I just missed a little bit here. Let me see if I could if there's any more paint left. I might be out. No. Oh, got a little bit there. Cool. Just a little bit of coverage was missing there, so. I really like to make sure that once I'm ready to finalize this, that all the paint is sealed right. We get it all in one layer. So that's why I'm really particular about this one section here. Get the whole job to look completely consistent before you actually seal it up. There we go. Cool. All right, let's add some sealer on here. This nice stuff about this is I don't have to mask anything off, really. Just going to aim for the actual spot, which is this blue line. Very, very light coats. Really, really light coats. There we go. You can see it's bubbling up here. I'm not sure why. Probably because I got to clean that airbrush out, but that was just a nice light coat on there. You can see that when I added that coat, that the finish kind of, it dulled down the gloss on there. Now this blue looks very similar to the actual other lines here, the blacks here, because they're all matted out. Now this blue is also matted out. Nice, right? Nice clean look to it. And that was a pretty quick custom. I knocked this out in 1 hour while instructing you guys. So the Air Max 97, it's a nice little base if you guys want a nice base. Beautiful, beautiful styling on the Air Max 97. This is, out of all of the Air Maxes, I would say it's up there, in my opinion, top 3. Air Max 90, Air Max 1, and probably the 97 comes after that for me. You know, that's why I said I want to get the silver bullet so bad, you know. But let me know if you guys have any questions. I did drop links for everything. If you guys would like to support and donate, you know, you're new, you learned something, you just want to support. Either way, I just added the link there. It says like my work and want to support. All donations are greatly appreciated. And the link right below that is our donation link. Get the paint. That is the paint that I've been using today. Alpha 6 Corporation. Shout out to Alpha 6. Princeton brushes. Man, I use Princeton brushes religiously. If you guys need Princeton brushes, I've got links there for you guys. Iwata Airbrush. That's what I just used right now. That is to add this finisher here. I left a link there for you guys for the airbrush and the compressor, both Iwata's. Iwata's a beast. That's all I could say about that. But yeah, time's 8:07, y'all. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I know we still have a lot of viewers on, so thank you guys so much for staying on with me, man. I really appreciate the love. I think I'm pretty much done with this custom today. If you guys have any questions, please shout them out now. It doesn't need to be about this actual custom, but I did want to point out that today we learned how to do a nice clean blue stripe and color match an Air Max 97 prototype that was given to me today. Today we also learned how to use GAC 900 fabric medium and paint. We mixed a color that was custom to the actual prototype as well. We learned how to paint fabric today as well. So some nice beginner lessons for people or people who have questions about, you know, just getting into the idea of customizing in general. You know, I think that this will help out beginners quite a bit. I know there's a lot of vets on here today, so thank you guys for staying on and chilling with me. I've got another shoe to do, so while I'm waiting for you guys, I'm going to knock out this other blue side here just because I've got the paint ready to go, okay? Just a side note, if you guys saw me spray that clear coat, I will be spraying one more layer of that clear coat as well. When it's completed, then that shoe will be finalized and completed, ready to go. Right now, I give the paints about 5 or 10 minutes to dry in between coats. So then I know that the next coat, it's going to individually get onto the shoe and dry by itself. So, Speed Infusion, thank you for cheering, homie. I didn't know if you were on today, Speed Infusion. You're quiet. Why you been so quiet? I think Speed Infusion was mad at me because I wasn't streaming this last couple of weeks. It's kind of like my whiny girlfriend over there. He's like the whiny girlfriend I never wanted. Thanks, Speed Infusion. But like I said, man, I had to get that project completed, so it takes time. We're back, Speed Infusion. Don't worry, man. We're back. We got a whole bunch of projects to paint after this. I just read your comment, bro. That's messed up. Speed Infusion's our admin, man. So if you guys see me knocking on Speed Infusion, he's been in my life for way too long, and so I get the opportunity to just knock him whenever I get a chance. But don't worry, he does the same to me too. So we're pretty even. There we go. That's nice and clean. Does this have blue on both sides? No. Oh, it has this blue too. He never said anything. So I don't know what to do with this. It's got another swoosh in there. I don't know if I should paint it or not. Let's knock it out. Now this is kind of like a death trap here, painting these guys, because y'all see how much fur is around it? It's like you really got to be accurate with this. And the thing about it is you can't really even mask this off. You just kind of have to be real careful when you go about doing it. So let me see if I could angle this right. You got to make sure when you're dropping that brush on, you're really getting into just the swoosh. I'm not going to say you need super precision, but you got to be, you know, pretty confident about your paint skills here. I would just advise use a very, very small brush, maybe even smaller than this. I'm kind of being risky when I'm doing this. I'm a daredevil. Evil Knievel, yo. Psych, that guy would break his back. I'm good on that, man. The way my knees and back are set up, I'm good on that. Thin, thin, thin. You see how thin that is? You can't load a brush with a lot of paint and then try to paint like the thin part of the swoosh. You're going to catch some of that velvet or whatever the heck this material is around it. So just be real careful with that. Again, when you get down to like this very, very small thin section there, you want to really drop it right on top. See how I have this lined up here and I'm dropping it down, kind of like those machines where you get prizes. You want to drop it down like that. Operation, yo. This is Operation again. Never played that game, but I can imagine that's what it's like. You want that steady hand, right? Scrawny Johnny, did you say, do I know JSM 801 Customs? He DM'd me the other day, actually. Oh man, this is the part that gets me nervous a little bit. There we go. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, I could see that blue right there. I think that's probably going to be the best angle I can get it. Speed infusion, are you there, man? This is what I'm talking about when I mentioned to you the whites, because I can't tell from here if that looks like more of a white or a light blue to you guys. But in reality, like when I'm looking at the picture and I'm looking at this actual shoe, it looks to be about the same color. So I think that maybe the brightness might be a little up on your guys' end. So if it is, I'm sorry, you know. Yeah, man, he's a good guy, man. He reached out to me, actually, JSM 801. He reached out to me when he saw that my Instagram had gotten disabled. And he was just asking if he could help, you know. I don't know him personally, but I know that he's a great artist. Knock this one out too real quick. And then my body's saying like, bro, you trying to eat or you're not going to have dinner or lunch? So I got to go grab something to eat. What time is it right now? 8:14, y'all. Yeah, I definitely got to get something to eat. Again, using that GAC, man, it makes life so much easier because as soon as I drop it on there, it just kind of sinks in. And that's a great thing when I'm working around this kind of furry panels too. You want it to drop in immediately in there. You don't want any excess paint to land onto the actual velvet here. It's almost there. I'm gonna just, again, I'm gonna drop some paint off here so I have less, so then I can go into this thinner part here. You guys see I did that? I knew I had too much paint on my brush, so I dropped some off in a spot where I know, like, okay, cool, that kind of dropped off some paint. And then I'll go in and I'll look for a spot that's thinner, because I know there's less paint that's loaded onto the brush. And then that's a great thing, because then I know I won't be getting it on any extra of that fabric material around it. There we go. So that one's all painted up nice. There we go. Sorry, I know I said there you go about like a million times, but it's always nice to see it all completed, right? Oh man. Hour and 16 minutes in, guys. Sadir said, I'm curious to know what a day in the life of yours is like. How many projects are you going in between, from customizing paint only jobs versus more illustrative versus conceptual versus man. Sadir, you have a really creative question, man. Every day is a different day for me, and I'm so appreciative of that, because before I used to work at a bank, and it was the same thing day in and day out. You know, I knew exactly what opening the bank was like, to working with customers and doing accounts and whatever. Now it's like, yo, today I gotta paint Bart Simpson. Tomorrow I gotta break apart a shoe and make, you know, shoes out of a purse. And so it's a really fun time for me. I'm really happy that, like, I don't have to depend on my Instagram following for me to stay, you know, financially, you know, able to do what I'm doing and support my lifestyle for me and my family. So, yeah, man, it's cool. You know, right now I've got, you know, just a couple of things happening. For example, we've got some almost like reggaeton style artists, more like Latin hip hop style. I'm currently potentially working with them. They are going to be making like 10 pairs, and it's very LA themed, sunsets, lowriders, you know. And so I'm mocking up things for them right now on Procreate. I've sent off the quote to them to let them know how much it would cost for each custom, the time frame. So, like, you know, I really have to treat this like a business, and when I do that, I have to take things into consideration. Like, for example, I had to stop streaming for 3 weeks to get this pair of Gucci shoes done, and I had to do that because he's been patiently waiting to get his shoes. But first we needed a source of purse. We had to get the correct purse. We had to make sure there was enough material for it. You know, I had to cut. Then he said, I want a second pair of these. Please try to save as much material as possible. So let me show you what I saved. So this is the panel on the other side of the purse, and I had the opportunity to really cut as much as I can and still try to keep a good majority of the purse. So he wanted a pair of Jordan 1 lows now, and so this is what I left. This is the bottom of the purse. Y'all could see the little studs, and then this is the side of one of the purses, and you can see here that I cut out a heel cap. See this? This was the back. That was the back of this heel cap here. So that's how much I had to work with, and so I really lucked out. I think I have enough material here left over. I have enough material left over to make a Jordan 1 for him. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he likes these shoes. He doesn't even know what I've done. He let me freestyle them, you know, from scratch. So for me, like, I know we're just talking about anxiety. How is your customer gonna like your shoes, you know? And I still get anxiety. I just cut up a Gucci purse, and I just made my own version of some shoes that I hope he'll like. But you know, we won't know until he gets them, right? Other projects I have going on. Oh, here, I'll show you another project I got going on here. These are going to be set up for lasting this week. This is my own personal project. Again, I've been sewing and learning how to sew. This will be coming to the Patreon channel as well, showing you guys how to do like a zigzag stitch. Let me push this over a little bit. There we go. A little bit easier to see that. I think it was blown up a little bit, but you guys will learn how to do a zigzag stitch by hand. See that? All of this was done by hand. You know, just kind of teaching myself and learning. The other thing I'll be teaching you guys is how to make more of a vintage look, so you guys can see here. Check that out. See, that's like a vintage, almost scratched off, worn look. The suede on the back's all scratched off, exposed foam. You know, so this is, let me show you the sole for it. Here's the sole for it. So really, when I say I'm going to try to get it to look vintage, you can see that this was a bottom. You see how it's yellowed it looks? It's gotten that vintage look. I've also taken candle wax dye, and I've also used that and really given the midsole some age. Let's compare it so you can see. It's almost like a night and day difference when you see it from an angle. Again, this is what I tell you, Speed Infusion, when the whites are too bright, it's difficult to see like an exact shade. So this will be coming all, you know, very soon on Patreon. That's why I tell you guys, please be patient, because man, I'm filming so much stuff, and Alex is doing his best to edit things at the same time. You know, this is just half the stuff that I got going, man. I've got all kinds of things that I have, glow-in-the-dark materials that I'm working with, 3M materials I'm working with. Yeah. So yeah, great question again, Sadir. Hopefully that wasn't too long of a response, man. Scrawny, that's cool, man. He seems like a really nice guy. Oh, he's your mentor? Yeah, I mean, I think he even does YouTube as well, right? Capo, what's good, man? Welcome back. I think you reached us at the tail end, homie. Scrawny asked what the price of the purse was. It was $1,250. And we ended up getting it from like one of the third-party places. I slipped my mind which place it was. But you know, like you can go to those third-party websites where they authenticate. It's almost like StockX, where they'll send the bag in, they'll authenticate it, and then once it's authenticated, they'll send it back to you. But yeah, $1,250 was the purse, man. Do you have anyone else assisting you from time to time, as I know it can get overwhelming, or just one person? I mean, I've got people that I work with on a day in and day out basis. Obviously, and one of the most important people in my life right now is Alex. He's my videographer. He helps edit. He helps film. He comes with me on all the Flip My Kicks episodes. He's come with me to Memphis to meet Penny. He's come with me to San Francisco to meet the NBA 2K guys. He's just been day in and day out with me. My other videographers, Cami and Sebastian, both of them have currently moved. Man, I wish they didn't move, but they moved. But I had a whole team set up basically for editing and, you know, videos and all that stuff. Then I have other people who help assist as well. So like, for example, if I have a big project, sometimes I'll have to hire people to help me to manage certain portions of the project. You know, I might have somebody doing all the prepping for me, then I paint, you know, and we'll almost have like a factory line. That's just dependent. But most of the time, man, it just really depends on what the project is, you know. Sometimes I'm doing production for films. Like, for example, we just did there's a rapper named Yellow Wolf, and I did all of the styling and designing for all of his outfits for his short movie, which should be coming out pretty soon. But again, I have to work with somebody who can help me wash garments, who can help me cut and sew. You know, I'm out there shopping and sourcing materials and fabrics. So yeah, it's a great, I guess it's a great position for me to be in right now. It really helps me explore my creative side, what I'm doing right now, compared to what I was doing before, you know? So yeah, man. Yeah, Capo, better late than never. Yeah, Scrawny, if you know Yellow Wolf, man, he's got an album coming out. It's called Mudmouth. And I think actually that maybe the album has already come out. But he's basically using the album and making a short story out of all of the songs, all of the album. The track, I believe I made about 18 outfits, but I think they chose about 13 or 14, depending on how many was on the track list there. So you'll see that coming very soon. And hopefully you're still there, Scrawny. It's saying that you're spamming. But yeah, again, if it's not shoes, then it's clothing or it's something that's related to designing and customizing. Oh, cool, you're there. Awesome. Yeah, man. So very blessed to be where I'm at right now. And it's just, now I'm getting my business more from just word of mouth. I post on my Instagram and my Facebook and all that stuff. But one thing that I learned is you can't be dependent on social media to hope that they're going to help you stay successful. You know what I mean? You have to be able to make your own business decisions and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, man. The last album was super dope too, Capo. So I'm assuming this is only going to get better. And then he always works with 3-6 Mafia's DJ. And he's super dope. So I can't wait to hear the album in full. I haven't even heard the album. They just basically told me, hey, this is the theme and this is what we need. And then I just, had to go source fabrics and cut and wash and get everything put together for them. So, yeah, that's, again, this is one of the reasons why I can't stream consistently, because if I have a job like that and it's taking me a month and a half, to make these outfits, then, I'm driving to downtown, I'm sourcing the fabrics, I'm going to different places, getting things tie-dyed, bleached, whatever. And that takes a lot of the day up for me. Then when I get back home, obviously we've got family. And so I'm trying to keep a balance in life. So that's why I haven't been on for 3 weeks. I've been working on these Gucci shoes. And it's important for me to make sure that I do that correct. And I can't have things like, oh, well, I got a live stream today, be the center point of my life at that point. You know what I mean? So... man, I'm just rambling on like I'm on diary. But anyways, guys, 8:27. Let's wrap up, man. Any other questions? Let me know. I'm available to talk. I think we did a pretty close job to what the custom was supposed to look like. I wish I had done the other shoe, so then you guys could have an exact side by side, But it's all good. I think you guys got the gist of things here. And if you guys appreciate it, again, please follow me, man. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Patreon. I'm on a lot of spots. Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. And then all of the social media links are all up there, guys. So if you guys are wondering where to follow me, they're all up there in the corner. Shout out to all the top donators. Webb's Custom Kicks is still the top donator at $130. With our donations here. Shout out to all the other members who have donated. Webbs, obviously. The Dye Labs donated. Scrawny Johnny has donated. You guys have really helped just build this up, because I didn't have a microphone before. Now we got a microphone. Now we have 2 cameras. We used to have 1 camera. I love the fact that we're really growing the channel, I just hope that I can continue to be a little bit more consistent. So again, my bad for not being on for the last couple of weeks, Just I had a lot of things that are going on. So my favorite shoe is the Jordan 11 Bread. That's my favorite shoe. Great question, Face. What's your favorite shoe? Yeah, right back to you. I want to know what your favorite shoe is now. But yeah, Jordan 11 Bread will always be my favorite shoe. $1996, 1997. I'll always remember that shoe, yo. Oh, man. It's funny, SGZP, you're saying that about the Travis 4. A lot of people have had that same issue with that baby blue suede getting like more dull and doesn't look so great. Man, I really want to give you a great positive answer, but it's difficult to match that same powder blue suede, man. You're going to have to use like a light blue, and you're going to probably have to like dull that down all the way down to like with a neutral, what a neutral suede dye will do is really disperse the dye and make it more lighter. But man, good luck trying to get it to be an exact color match, because then you're going to have to test it. And if you don't have a piece of that blue suede to test it on to match it, you're going to have to do it on the shoe. And if it's too dark, it's going to be very difficult to revive it back. All right. So just kind of giving you a word of advice there. I've seen some people use suede revive cleaners. I would recommend you go that route before you try to color mix a suede dye for your Travis Scott 4s, man. Those are very, very expensive shoes, and you don't want to do more damage than they're already at. You know what I mean? Air Max 90 is a great shoe, man. Classic. White Cement 4, another classic. Jordan MA2. That's a very interesting interesting shoe selection. I never even heard of anyone saying Jordan MA2. So you're in a class of your own, man. The scuffed up ones like on you doing on Do the Right Thing, huh? That's an old school movie, man. You know you love sneakers if you know Do the Right Thing, because that was a classic for sneakers. You know what I mean? So. All right, y'all, man. It's 8:30, man. I gotta go eat. Again, if you haven't followed me on social media, you're messed up. That's really messed up, because I told you guys like 3 or 4 times. Nah, I'm teasing, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being on. Everybody on Twitch, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook. Much love to you guys. I'll be back on very soon. I've got a lot more paint projects to do. I wish I had my sewing machine or a camera set up where I could do sewing, but we will start to develop that as we continue the process. You know what I mean? So thank you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. I'm out of here. Peace.